I'm smoking. Fuck it.
You just had one, Cal.
I don't care. I don't. I don't. Jesus Christ.
Did you even?
I have work to do. If we're just gonna.
Hello. Hi. Hi, Dr. Silverman.
Oh.
Hi, let me give you guys a minute to settle. And hope your mom will be rejoining us soon.
Yeah, she just went to make some tea.
Some tea, yeah. Looks like you've had quite a animated discussion.
Yeah, we did have a hard discussion about what we're gonna do, because she's essentially going to be living on her own, and
my sister Joni needs to move out. She had offered to take care of our mom, but now she's changed her mind because she wants to have a lover.
Eve, this isn't Joni's responsibility, all right?
I'm just telling him what's going on.
Okay. Dr. Silverman, our mother is considering killing herself because she's in stages that she's confused.
And we're not talking about in the next couple of years. We're talking about if she does have Alzheimer's, she wants to have control over how her life, her end of life is, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's understandable. I think I would feel the same way. So I would like to get started, but I also would like to wait until
here she comes. Yeah.
So that I don't exclude her from our beginnings. Hi, Kiki. I'm Dr. Silverman.
I'm Kiki Dresden. Thank you so much for coming to join us. It's a pleasure to meet you.
I appreciate you inviting me to be engaged with your family. You know, I recognize that some of you are maybe open to some of the processes, the ceremonial-like process that we are going to experiment with today, and some may be less open, but I'm hoping that all of you are willing to take the ride and see what happens. I thought it may be helpful just for me to do a very, very short introduction so you know a little bit about my past and present. So I am a family physician. I, for a long time, was a certified geriatrician, but those are not the hats I'm wearing today. By virtue of luck and serendipity, I was lucky enough to, here in Arizona, work with a whole variety of different Native American medicine people. At first out of curiosity and then out of collegiality. And so I was very grateful that they invited me into their teepees and their circles, and I learned a few things. And I remember one of them saying, you know, Howard, your science to us looks like magic, but our science looks like magic to you. So it's in that spirit. I'm not here as an expert. I'm not here as a counselor or a therapist, but it's in that experience of experimenting with some magic, or maybe not magic, that will draw this circle together. Okay. Really, the purpose is to
have my daughters explain to you. Have my daughters explain to you our relationship. I haven't really had a chance to. I mean,
they did a bit, but I'd be interested in anything that you have to say about that, Kiki, as a prelude to what we're going to do.
Well, I have done some ritual in my life, Dr. Silverman, but I think, what do I want to say? Sometimes introductions to ritual are almost additional, but these are 3 daughters I love very much, and they want me to be well, but and always have been a very independent person in my life. And I've always made my own decisions, and sometimes I've been a little too forceful about my decisions. I know that now, but now I am ready to do.
I'm sorry.
Did you want to say something?
I'm just mentioning.
But now, at this time, it's important that I make these decisions, and I want them all in my true family as I do this. I want them to be present for me, if not with me, when this happens. So that's the short opening of what we hope, and I'm glad you could come at this from a different perspective.
Well, great. And that actually is a perfect segue to, I was just mentioning, from my perspective, the purpose is really to facilitate the opportunity to explore, discover, share thoughts and feelings and hopes regarding aging. That's my generic purpose, and we'll see where you guys take it. And my job is to keep things clear and safe. And we'll, really, we'll see where it goes. So I hope that you're all on board, at least with that purpose for now. And as I said, this is not a treatment. It's really an experiment. It's an adventure that we can take together with a little structure to it to make it safe.
Girls, do you have anything to say before we start? Eve?
Is this
I
gonna
can
be like
feel-
that weird woo-woo camp you made us go to when I was like 12? Where we had to
Exactly.
my
But now, but now, the woo-woo camp that I made you go to. Remember the woo-woo camp?
Yeah, the
Camp.
camp.
Well, there may be a little feeling of that woo-woo, but that shouldn't stop anybody to being able to enter into the experience. And as I said, it's an experiment, so we'll see. And you'll judge for yourself whether it has meaning and force for you or not. That's the way it works. And I will tell you that I've never done this in a setting where I knew what was going to happen. I only know things happen, but I don't know what or how. And that's the adventure part. So I'm like an expert who comes with the answers to dispense like Pez. That's not my role here.
That's refreshing. Thank you.
Yeah, it's sometimes a little scary though. I have to own that. And I myself find that often I feel like I will do anything to just leave the room. I don't want to have to. The entry into that kind of a experience together sometimes can be a little baffling and off-putting. But what I've learned is you just kind of have to power through to get in. And then once you're in, it is what it is. And so I think it'll be an interesting experiment. We'll see what happens. There was a legendary medicine man, Black Elk. He was a Lakota Sioux medicine man. By the way, he was on the winning side in Little Bighorn. And I won't go into his whole life. There's a wonderful biography written about him. But he had some visions as a youth that turned out to be very important for his tribe. And they went ahead and did a whole complicated ceremony based on those visions. And he said, a person who has had a vision is not able to see it on the earth. And is not able to use the power of it until he has performed the vision on the earth for people to see. So, in a certain way, we're going to be talking about visioning, and the ceremony itself will be, or the gathering. And sometimes I prefer to call this a gathering. Will kind of let us get into that. Yes, Eve.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for raising your hand.
Yes, I didn't understand that at all. Could you state that quote again?
Yes.
I didn't get it.
A person who has a vision is not able to use the power of it until after he or she has performed the vision on earth for people to see. So, for example, legal contracts require witnesses. Marriage contracts require witnesses. That's a holdover of this basic true fact that one can think whatever you want to think, but when you do it in a circle where other people witness it, it has a different type of energy to it, power to it.
Thank you.
Right? Maybe in legal terms, and I'm on thin ice here, it holds up better in court.
Is it like manifesting?
It could. It may increase the odds of something like that manifesting. But as I said, it's not A goes to B, therefore B goes to C. It's what we would view as magic. But in other circles, they view this as logic. So we have to make that kind of little suspend disbelief for long enough to try it out.
Can we keep our clothes on?
If you want. But that, by the way, is one of the more common questions I get asked.
Really? Oh my gosh.
My answer is usually, this isn't California. We're going to have you keep your clothes on.
All right.
All right. So let me just tell you a little bit about the process, just so you have a sense of how this kind of works. This is the world's simplest ceremony. It's called a talking circle. Interestingly, in Israel, it's called a listening circle because, as they told us there, in Native Americans, you have to urge them to talk because they're quiet people. In Israel, you have to urge them to listen because they're talking all the time. So you can use either word for it. And what I'm going to do is invite all of us to light candles. And we talked about bringing a candle with. We'll do that together in just a few moments. So if you want to get that stuff ready. So we'll light a candle. I'll do an opening, just a reading, something simple, maybe a few other things to open the circle. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pass that candle around the circle. Now, obviously, we're in Zoom. If we were face-to-face, we'd have a physical candle that would move from one to the next. But what we'll do instead is because of Zoom, I will invite each of you in turn to speak, right? And while you're speaking, it's nice if you can have that candle visible. It's not mandatory. If you brought any ceremonial objects, or if you brought any ceremonial clothing, or have anything else that you wanted to share with each other, that's a good time to do that. Really, you can talk as little or as much as you want. If you go real long, I may tap you on the shoulder, but that rarely is necessary. Okay, and here's what happens. Now, your mind tends to think about what you're going to talk about, but when it comes your time, I would say go with the heart, right? Sometimes things come up, and sometimes they're insights, and sometimes they're emotions, and it can be anything from soup to nuts. So I'm going to say, do whatever comes naturally when it's your turn to talk. We're going to go around the circle twice, so each of you will have 2 opportunities. If it's your turn, if I call on you and you're just not ready, you get 1 opportunity to pass. So you can say, I'm not ready, I'd like to pass. And what we'll do is we'll keep rolling along through the circle, and then I'll come back to you. And then you can, I guess you have more than 1 opportunity. You can do that at any point. It's not mandatory to speak. But a lot of people find they may not be ready, but then after a little while, then they're ready. So we want to be sure that we don't exclude you on that basis, right? Now, very important, simple rule. If you're holding the candle, you speak. If you're not holding the candle, you listen generously. Okay? This is a term coined by Rachel Naomi Remen, an incredible pediatrician who, a medical student, used this term. What that means is you listen with an open mind, with a full heart. You listen. There is no crosstalk. There's no trying to fix or inserting a comment or saying, don't you really mean this? No questions. It's silence, right? And even gestures, be better to avoid if you can, but you are who you are. So if you want to make a face, you're going to do that. But what we don't want to do is interrupt the person who's expressing themselves, as the native people would say, because it interrupts their flow, right? So we're going to keep quiet unless it's your turn to speak.
Do you have something to bind and gag me with? It would be helpful.
Yeah, well, there's always the mute button on Zoom, but I have great faith in your ability to get into the zone. And as I said, we'll see what happens. Now, when you're done, we need to know when you're done. Yes, Kiki.
Can we talk about anything we want to talk about?
I'm going to give you a question to respond to. That's a great
All right.
question. So there's a great question about the question. So I'm going to give you a question in each cycle of the 2 cycles. If you want to go off-road, as long as it's kind of connected to what you're experiencing at that moment, that's okay. But I find that people find it easier as a springboard to have a question to respond to. And I'll share that with you once we open the circle. Now, when you're done, I need to know, or we need to know when you're done so we can pass it to the next person. So the traditional way of doing this is to say, all my relations. All my relations. In Lakota, it's Mitakuye. And what that means is 2 things. One is, I'm done. Then I know, okay, let's move to the next person. The second is, in Native culture, you are interconnected with everything. And so there's this sense that I am expressing myself in that culture. But while I'm expressing myself, I'm also connected. Even though it may be storming or raining or snowing or whatever it is, I'm still connected to everybody. So I like to use it. We don't, in our culture, have that second part that much, but I like it as a practical measure, just so we know when to move to the next person. Okay?
Can you say it one more time for us?
And the phrase is all my relations.
All my relations. That's the easiest one to remember.
If we add ho, would that be okay with you? Because
yes, and some people, there is one thing that people will do in a talking circle. If there's a sense of energy when someone else is talking, where you feel like, oh yeah, that really. Sometimes people will say aho while they're speaking, but only that word, aho. It's a way of saying, I hear you, sister. I'm with you. So that's certainly permissible. Or you could end with that, although sometimes it's not clear which aho you're using. So it might be better just to use all my relations. So, okay, so that's the whole deal in terms of the process. And then when we're all done, we've gone through the 2 rounds, then I'll have a little closing reading and we'll close it, and that'll be it. I want to emphasize, we're not trying to fix. We're not trying to cure. We're trying to heal. We're trying to bring body, emotions, mind, and spirit into balance. That's the purpose. We're not here to fix. Now you may say, well, that's a waste of time because I want the answer. I want to be fixed. But out of that healing, should it occur, can be new understandings and new connections, which can lead to good things. That's the magic part. But as I said, I appreciate, I'm a skeptic myself, but I've just sat in too many circles to know that this works more often than not. What works means, I don't know. So we'll see. All right, is everybody ready? Any questions before we proceed?
When we're holding the candle, we talk. Do you respond to your question? Do we blow out the candle when we're
No.
done and
We'll keep
it
the
lit?
candles going, so you'll bring
Take
your
it off
candle. I
of
think
it.
it's kind of nice to bring your candle to view, and then when you're done, you can put it down.
Gotcha. All right.
I'm going to leave my candle on this little candle thing that I invented out of a
Okay.
beer mug. So that'll just kind of keep the light shining for us all. Good question. Any other questions before we proceed?
I'm going to put the candle behind me when I talk because there's no way for me to lift it up. So if any of you see my bookcase burning, will you let me
Yeah.
know?
We will let you know.
Mom.
Oh, I'm just kidding.
I love it, Mom.
They like to think that I don't have
Darkest
any
summer
hair problems.
ever.
I appreciate the safety warning and your observance of fire codes. Yeah.
Well, I need their help sometimes.
All right, is everybody ready? So we'll go ahead and communally light our candles. Again, as I said, if we were face to face, we'd have one candle, but put this up here. Okay, and I'm going to add one other thing to the start. This is a little piece of sweetgrass. I'm going to put it close so you can see it. It's made out of plains grass. This is a 4-stranded sweetgrass given to me by a medicine man named Ray. When I was a residency director in family medicine, one of my residents was simultaneously, while going through his residency, was also being trained as a Lakota medicine man. He had lineage through his mother, many generations of medicine men in his family. And at his wedding, he introduced me to his medicine man teacher, Ray. Ray and I talked about what we were teaching, and we realized we were teaching the exact same thing, just very different tools. And 2 months later, he came to me and said, Ray gave this to you as a gift. And you can see a little red tie on it because sweetgrass is associated with the south, the direction of the south, which is the area of emotions. Remember I said body, mind, emotion, spirit? 4 strands: body, mind, emotion, spirit. So you're going to have to use your imagination for this woo-woo, very short woo-woo part, which is to offer a little bit of cleansing. Some people say smudging. Smudging is to smudge. Cleansing is to cleanse. So I'm going to offer this on the screen to everybody. Imagine what that might smell like. Okay, and round one will start with Kiki. I'm going to ask you to go first, and here's the question I'd invite you to respond to. Please share with us something about Kiki's aging, which you feel is an opportunity, and something which is challenging for you. Okay, I'll repeat that question. Please share with us something about Kiki's aging, which you feel is an opportunity, and something which is challenging for you.
Let me put my candle where you can see it, and I know it's there. Bear with me.
And you could leave it there if you'd like, Kiki, if that's easier for you.
She okay with
Well, I'm
candles?
still pretty mobile, which I'm happy about.
Yes.
There we go. What I am happy about is that I move more from what seems to have enclosed so much of our lives when we were younger, which is we're always in some way or another looking to be in love with someone, in love with something. And now, as I grow older, and as I get closer to whatever the big one is, it's less about being in love than about love, than connecting to spirit, connecting to whatever I increasingly search for the definition for myself of what that, okay, girls, please bear with me, of whatever that non-dual universe is for me, like the connection to I am part of it and it is part of me. And strangely enough, not being in love makes that easier. I am truly grateful for that. I'm truly grateful for I'm sorry, girls, I'm apologizing for everything you went through when I was younger, but I know I'm getting more difficult as I get older in one way, but as I'm getting older, I'm also loving you more and needing less to hold on to the results. I'm sorry if I lose my temper. That's part of what's going on, but I'm loving you. That's the good part. The hard part, you know this, girls. I grew up with a hard father and a hard mother who believed that everything was about, for want of a better word, being Protestant, being hardworking, working hard, dying if necessary as you worked hard, not even stopping working when you were living, when you were working hard, just kept on doing so. Everything was your own responsibility, because otherwise, just like we are in America, you won't survive if you soften up. That is the part I can't change. You want to take care of me, but I need to take care of myself. I need to be in control of this part, because otherwise, that part where it was still okay to whack your kid on the backside when they were bad, that part was still okay to slap somebody, because that's what that was called discipline. That place where love was looked at as a vulnerability is still part of who I am. And if I don't take care of myself, someone's going to get me. It's very hard for me to let go of that. And that's why you're here, so that as I get closer, I can hopefully let go of little pieces of, no, Callie will help me here, and Eve will help me there, and Joni will be able to move up, but she won't be far away. And I'm working on that. But it is the true challenge of surrendering that I am dealing with. It is not easy in all my relations. Oh.
Thank you. Kelly, I'd invite you to go next.
Who?
Kelly,
Kelly.
invite you to go next.
I mean, which was a I have to pass.
Okay, thank you. We'll come back. Eve?
I'm sorry, do you want us to answer the same question? I don't understand what you want.
What I'm inviting you to do is to address that question. What is something about Kiki's Age which you feel is an opportunity, and something that you feel is challenging?
Can we go back? I'm ready. Or we're allowed to.
Okay, sure. Yeah, Kelly, why don't you go ahead then? That'll
Mom.
give you the chance to think a little bit.
Mom, we've been alienated from each other for a long time because I was the oldest and I always felt your hardest on me. And I'm learning as I lose Frank and getting divorced that that it's really hard to let go. And I agree with you, because I feel like when you say you're going to take pills, I feel like I'm not going to get the chance to make up the time with you. Like, and I don't even know what I'm looking for, Mom. I don't know what I want from you. A hug. Zoom doesn't help. But I've been so worried about you with COVID and so self-absorbed in my own losses. You were always so strong to me. It never even occurred to me that I would ever hear you say what you said today. I'm not ready to be without my mother. Yeah, and yeah, Eve, mommy. Yeah, sometimes it's mommy. Sometimes you feel like a little girl. A little girl who fucking smokes. I don't want to lose any of you. I act tough and I act like I know what I'm doing. And I act like I'm the oldest sister when sometimes I mean, if you die, Mom, who do I turn to for advice to give to them? I don't know if you ever knew that I was listening. I heard everything you said, even though it was like hippie and metaphors, and it was always like language I didn't know what the hell you were talking about. You know, this is from the Raven. This is from, Plato. This is from.
Oh.
I love you. I really want to smoke, and thank you, Dr. Silverman. Thank you, Howie. All my relations.
Thank you, Kelly. Eve, are you ready?
Yes. I don't have to think about it because I'm not supposed to think about it. I follow directions well. I'm supposed to feel something. And I don't want to lose you, Mom. I'm scared. And every time you don't remember something that I told you, or you ask me the same question when we're on the phone about a case that I just told you about, it scares me more. Because I know I am losing you. And I don't know why it's so hard for us to get along. I don't know. I see the similarities between us, minus the hippie weird stuff, but I do see them. And maybe you're a part of me. And if I lose you, I lose me and everything else. All my relations.
Thank you. Joni?
Oh yeah, that's not. I don't know. Do I have to hold it? Let's see.
You can, whatever's comfortable.
I'll just leave it back here.
Great.
Okay, thank you. What I appreciate about my mother's aging is the guidance that she gives to my own aging, being an incredible woman with an incredible handle on what her life was, how meaningful it was, and how important it is to make the remainder of her life meaningful. And for me, that strength and power that she has taken my fear away from aging and given me strength. So I appreciate that very much, Mom. I think the challenge is just it's very difficult to watch her. lose that power. And I'm trying not to think of it as weakness. So I just don't want to see her struggle through it. So, and I don't want her to think that I'm not on her side. So it's very important to me that I learn how to be the most supportive that I possibly can be to her. All my relations.
Thank you. So I'm not going to do the second round of questions, but I'm going to do something else. I'd like to offer you a reading, and then I'm going to ask Kiki to close us out. But let me just offer this reading. It's a quick one. This is from my teacher, Rachel Naomi Remen. I mentioned her earlier, one who coined the generous listening term. While an impulse towards wholeness is natural and exists in everyone, each of us heals in our own way. Some people heal because they have work to do. Others heal because they have been released from their work and the pressures and expectations that others place on them. Some people need music, others need silence. Some people need people around them, others heal alone. Many different things can activate and strengthen the life force in us. For each of us, there are conditions of healing that are as unique as a fingerprint. Sometimes people ask me what I do in my sessions with patients. Often I just remind people of the possibility of healing and study their own way of healing with them. So I want to thank you for your expressions. And rather than go a second round, Kiki, I don't want to impose on you, but I would like to give you the opportunity, if you'd like it, to provide a blessing for each of your daughters. Or if you want to do one for all three together, that's your choice. If you're not comfortable with that, we can close. But I had the feeling it would work for you.
I would love to do that. Oh my gosh. The tears come so easily. For Callie, my eldest, you have such heart. You have such ease that you don't know about. You have such love. You have such confusion, which is to your credit. You are not certain about everything, like I am. The blessing I give to you is your own authenticity. Keep it. For Eve, the daughter like me, the daughter who I could not live with for a week, who I love for not being able to live with for a week, because Eve, you have done what I did not do. You took your abilities into the world and you said, I will conquer the world. It will not conquer me. You are an amazing woman of such strength, but you are the opposite of me in a different strength. And so I'm so grateful that you express a part of me that did not get to be expressed. I'm the hippie and you're the savage lawyer. It's like a growth. So I bless you. I'm blessing you with what you have, and I'm so grateful for what you have. I bless you for your strength, and that you keep your strength, and that you are comfortable with your strength as you go on. You don't have to do any woo-woo stuff. And Joni, I bless you with your caring, your incredible heart that just walks out of your and says, is willing to give to me, is willing to be with me, is willing to get to know me. You have been with me the longest time. I'm so glad that somebody mentioned your girlfriend today, because you deserve love in your innocence. You have an innocence, and you're also different. You have an innocence which allows you to go, you know, and I'm going to be in love for as long as I want to be in love, and I'm thrilled to be in love. And so I'm blessing you with what you already have, but I just want to know how much I appreciate it in each of you. I bless you for your compassionate love.
Oh.
Thank you.
So thank you all for expressing yourself so beautifully. I'd like to share very short closing reading by Raniera Maria Rilke. I've had this stuck with a tack in my workshop for probably 40 years. Be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves, like locked rooms and like books that are written in a very foreign tongue. Do not seek the answers that cannot be given you, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps you will then gradually, without noticing it, live along some distant day into the future. So it is time for us to close our circle, and I'd suggest that each of you get your candle handy. Maybe you can bring yours back from the hinterland there. And let's just pause for a moment, just to let it settle. Just as when we first got together, we paused for a moment to let things settle. And I'd like to invite you to think about a wish you'd like to make. Or maybe even a couple wishes. And then in just a moment, we'll all blow out our candles together. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So our work here is done for now, or maybe it's just starting. So thank you for taking a chance on this experiment. It was a beautiful, beautiful time with you. Thank you for letting me be part of it.
Thank you.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Silverman.
Thank you.
Thank you.